Just make sure we're live over in the live stream. Yeah, we're connected. Good. Welcome. If you got a question, don't worry about putting up your hand. Just post your question into the Q&A section, either on YouTube or into the comments right here. We'll get them found. Appreciate you guys jumping on. It's Monday, February 24th, 2025, if you can believe that. Um, Crazy. Look, we're getting to some times where they're both exciting and scary at the same time. And I know everybody's watching the dawn, the golden god, Donald Trump. And I'm not saying that because I'm against the guy or I have any problem with him. I've told you guys very truthfully, I think the Middle East is something a little bit different than what we know. I've told you. And I'm saying that specifically to start from a biblical perspective standpoint. So you think on that. I think that when you understand the word of God and how and who brings peace to the Middle East, and when you understand um the constructs of what is not being done versus what is being done. Um, the white elephants in the room, child trafficking. I get it. Slice a little bit off at a time. GMOs, chem spray, big things, promoting big pharma still instead of promoting accountability, arrests, and coming after them for what they've done to the world. Allowing for billionaires to walk free when they've gone in and wiped out tens of thousands of people running tests in India, such as Bill Gates did. An unelected billionaire that is not a medical doctor that is all of a sudden doing the same thing on vaccines that he did on his own software. It's funny. It's like Apple, for whatever reason, was able to figure out how to keep viruses off Macintosh, or excuse me, they were good about building a product. IBM, Microsoft, and back in the day, it was an IBM product versus an Apple product. Well, IBM, or the PC as we know it, can't seem to figure out how to keep a virus off. So therefore, you got to have virus protection, and that's a monthly rate, and it's over and above any profits that he would have made on software. You understand? And we're doing the same principle, the same thinking from a guy who knows nothing, except when you take a look at the source of what they're actually putting out there and pushing and promoting. So when I speak about the blonde god, um, Donald Trump, and I say it that way not because he is one, but because he's an amazing man that has done some amazing things. And I'm really hoping that he does what we all need, which is nail the white elephants. And I'm hoping the Q Chronicles are true, and we're gonna see the mass arrests. I really do, because that's really what they're talking about. Those are things that seem to be kind of irony. The irony of it is kind of real, like on the Pacer website, which is the federal, I guess, registrar for lawsuits, criminal activity, and different things. There's hundreds of thousands of sealed indictments. Um, Supposedly, I looked into this about 2 years ago, and it seemed to be true to me as far as to what I can understand, what I was making of what I was viewing with my eyes. So I saw all these things, and I wanted more. I wanted more, just like you. And I wanted freedom just like you guys, and I wanted to be above all this, and I wanted to be able to get on my boat and sail away, and I wanted to have fun with my friends and family and not have to worry anymore. Just let crypto run, let gold and silver run, let dinar run, let all these things go, and like they said they would. And and let's just cash in together and just help the world and have fun and laugh our way through to eternity. And but is that what the word of God says? No, no. I mean, yes, yes, it does, but there's a lot of struggle and strife for people that are not in the game and not playing the game per God's way. And I want to just toss that little tidbit out. But we are watching some of the most amazing times I think we've ever seen in the history of man. I mean, right, really, it's true. I think never before have we seen such a display of good versus evil. Never before have we seen evil willing to stand up and say and criminalize themselves and say, go hurt this person, a congressman, hurt this person, kill this president. We've never seen that before. I mean, I've never seen that before. There's a lot of things going. I've never seen a street, or let's say a 9 square block area called Chasville in Washington where there was no law and order. Never saw that before. I thought that was interesting. I've never seen so many things that are happening right now. Like, how does a billionaire get away with bringing in truckloads of bricks and rocks and putting them in the middle of the streets and knowingly put on his website to hire people? They say that's a white elephant. To me, that's a white elephant. The election lost, and I know everybody wants to say Donald Trump never lost power. He was still the chief executive officer. He still ran everything in the background. I know on all the conspiracies. And I'm not saying they're not conspiracy facts. There's still conspiracies until some book gets published by him personally and it's laying it out and the military supports the book and writes everything. Yeah, what he's saying is true, you know. But what's kind of cool is we're starting to get in on some of the things that he promised. And I'm starting off my Q&A because this stuff needs to be addressed. Everybody's standoffish because they think the Dawn is going to save them. And, it sure looks really good in a lot of different respects. But we're talking about institutions that overthrow governments. Just smoke your cigarette a little bit while you think about that one. Just ponder that thought. CIA, I don't know how many millions of people they influence, but I know approximately how many people they have. The question is what is their influence? The NSA in 2005 employed 1 million people all over the world for the interest of the United States. No, that was the interest of the stockholders and the interest of the the barons and the families. I only say that because it certainly doesn't seem like their vested interest is to protect the rights and freedoms of the people. For sure not. For sure not. And so, what are you taking into consideration for you and your family right now? And how important is it for you to understand that you still need to make moves towards freedom, towards, asset protection, towards your children's freedom and education is I think on the top top for his advocates and for myself is how do I have that 15-second elevator speech when somebody asks, what do I do for a living? I don't know. I feel like I don't have a clear-cut answer on that. I'm a freedom entrepreneur. I don't know. And so I kind of make fun of that a little bit because there is no clear-cut truth to my ability to be able to answer somebody in 15 seconds. Um, Ben Franklin was not a United States citizen. So Freedom, I think, right now has never been more important. Because if you're not dealing with the big boys, if you're not dealing with the guys out there that are the white whales, the pharmaceuticals, the simple fact that the United States is operating as a corporation and defunct and defaulted, and and there's rules and procedures behind how you deal with the creditors of this bankruptcy. White elephant. Never, to my knowledge, has this been discussed publicly. And the debt. What do you do with the debt? Well, I guess if you're the creditors, you're going to rape, rob, and pillage everything that you can from the organization, which is why they are doing what they are doing. You're missing 4.7 trillion from Social Security Administration. Well, who's going to prison? Is that a white elephant? I would say so. Is it being dealt with? Why in the world is the Social Security Administration trustees, look them up, not been arrested? There's millions of accounts with people over the age of 130. I went up to 129. I figured, that was the oldest woman in the world or whatever, something roundabout. Let's just give it up to 129. Anything beyond that, no, they're not alive. Why is there not this public spectacle of the marshals going in and arresting the people running the organization? It's called a white elephant. What deals are being made in the background to skirt them from public purview, to skirt them out of their positions? I don't know of any. So when you talk about Doge making all these huge accomplishments, really what is being done? So what? They cut off the payments. It's good. That's good. USAID. So what? They cut off the payments. So what? Where are the arrests? Seriously. Why? I'm going to publicly say this. Why is Bill Gates, Hillary Clinton, why are these people free? Bill Clinton, why are they free? When in your job that you used to fund your personal foundation in the tunes of hundreds and hundreds of millions of dollars, if not billions, while you were acting Secretary of the State. White elephant. Hey, that was great sounding piece, when Trump said, because I'd have you arrested. Great. That's carried in my head for years. Why is she free? It's simple. If you are in control and it is that obvious, there would be these checks and balances, and we would know, and somebody would issue a warrant or indictment, just like they made one up for Trump. Oh, can you imagine being that lady, the state attorney general, whatever her name was for New York right now? The level of poo poo she must be crapping in her pants. Can you imagine right now the fears going on in her head? Good. She should be arrested. It should be pretty easy to find through the NSA to find records that indicate that she was in collusion with somebody to take out the president. That her and the judge were on texts back and forth, that they were in private communications, different things. And you should be able to prove this kind of stuff. Crazy. I'm just a little leery about the show that we're all being appeased with. That's all I'm saying. And your freedom has never been more important than it is right now. Your asset protection has never been more important than it is right now because you feel like everything is safe. You feel everything is good, and it is not. I don't know why a bomb has not gone off, a nuclear bomb, other than I feel they are trying to protect us. I feel that there's some good that's going on in this world. I'm not thinking it's all bad, but I don't know why we are in this position that we are in, where this guy is still able to sign executive orders and do what he's doing against power structures that are way more powerful than you could ever imagine. See, I could just talk about the nature of the families and how powerful they are, or I could actually get into the nitty gritty of how powerful the devil is as he rules this earth in default, and how long he's had to set all this up for himself so that he can launch this whole thing and get himself into a position whereby he is anchored in every area of the world, in every system of the world, in every placated deal, in everything. This is the real deal. These are the times at which we should be discussing the white elephants in the room, like what is going on in the world, that why aren't we dealing with the major elements of what needs to be dealt with? And I'm not saying that it's not a big deal or it's not difficult to get accomplished. I'm not saying that. But if you listen, if you're in charge of the military of the United States of America, if you're in charge of that, which supposedly the president's in charge of the Marines, and supposedly he's in charge of the Department of Defense. If you're in charge of that, you should have the ability to do anything you need. There are things going on in this world that we don't understand. And those are the things and reasons why the public couldn't handle it. Let's just say it like that. The public could not handle what is going on inside the earth. The public couldn't handle it. One of the things that the president did, um, goodness, 5 years ago, and I talked about this quite a bit, was he allowed for $650 million to go for underground military warfare training. I'm like, hmm, every war they've ever shown has been above ground. And we know about the DUMBs, we know about the different things. And so I got kind of excited about that because, we're talking about letting kids out, freeing families, freeing the biggest and most profitable thing going on in the world is sex trafficking. And to me, that is the biggest white elephant that we have on the face of the earth. Listen, I study this stuff. I make it my heart's desire to try to find how I can help. When I hear all over the ports of the Western Hemisphere being videoed from within the cranes, picking up those containers, hearing children cry out inside the containers, could be theatrics, could be a BS video, or it could be the crane operator's way of speaking out because he's tired of doing the job. Do you know, listen, there's a movie on Netflix I think everybody should watch. It's called Ordinary Men. You know that they, in the Auschwitz days or in the German World War II days, they took men from the cities and they programmed them, not with MK Ultra, just with a desire to be the enforcement for the military, Some were police officers, some were bakers, some were regular men, just regular men. They took him in to the woods with a bunch of Jews, and they were told they had to kill him. All but two participated. There's been studies that people that receive an order because they are trained to follow, not lead, will execute an order all the way to the point of death of an individual, knowing fully that what they are doing is killing the person. And the doctor said he was giving a drug to a patient, and the doctor saying, continue, 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 continue. And they kept clicking and pressing this button. And it was 70% of normal people pressed that button to the point of extinction. And it was just a study. Nobody really died in the trial, but they wanted to find out who would be willing to do it. Like, why are we worried about that? I don't know. It's another small white elephant, right? I'm saying this to you guys because when you look to your left and you look to your right and you see your family, they're ordinary people. And they could be compelled very easily and very quickly out of fear to narc you off, to say what kind of weapons, firearms, drugs, all the different things that they are doing right now in other countries. They have systems in other countries like China to where, based on facial recognition, within 10 minutes, you'll be surrounded by a group of law enforcement officers. Just if you're a wanted man based on facial recognition and cameras all over the country. They are designing that for this nation. So as you hear Mark Zuckerberg line up his apologies for the way he's handled Facebook, as you are watching these men out there trying to get behind Trump, trust me, there's control systems in play that are much more powerful, that are much more eluding, that are not going to be grabbed. And they're going to use this short time that we are coming back into power, at least how we feel, where we're regaining some of these rights. They're going to use this time to revamp their next strike. Now, I've said this a long time, and there's probably a few of you that think this is complete malarkey. All I know is you better be prepared for monsters that are scary as all get out. Because that is the only thing. These guys are vipers in corners that have been planning this for hundreds of years. The devil been planning this for thousands of years. They have a well executed plan that's going to play out, and it's going to drive the hearts of men faint to where they will die on the spot from a heart attack. Now that's biblical. However, it's also biblical to obey God and come out and structure up your life accordingly and be prepared for war. Because I don't care how you look at it or who tells you that you can't or you're not allowed to protect yourself or you're not allowed to have this or have that. You're not allowed to, au contraire, mon frère. I've read the Bible to and fro, and it doesn't say lay down and let them screw you up the butt. I'm sorry. I know, bad analogy. It doesn't say give everything over because you have to. I'm telling you right now, if you could see how God takes care of business, you would be all about making sure you are on the right side, because everything that they are doing is going to placate, going to fall, because we've already won. And that is the message today. There's nobody winning this but God and his people. There's nobody escaping what is coming except God and his people. If you have any doubts, go read Revelation 6, verse 15. Because they are all free slaves, all those bad guys, generals, politicians, Bill Gates, hiding amongst the rocks and the caves and the caverns, in the dumps, hoping that it falls on them to escape the judgment of the Elohim. I know you didn't want to get preached to today. You got preached to yesterday. It's cool. That was from a pastor, probably that was Sunday to Sunday. Who knows? Not putting down pastors. A lot of times they don't tell you the whole truth because they don't want you to know the truth, or they don't know the truth themselves. Anyway, this is a question and answer, and I'm doing that. I'm answering a lot of questions that maybe people have and don't know what to do with. Do I support Donald Trump? I support the ideas of the majority of the things that he says, 100%. Do I support what's happening? Sure. Are we up against something we've never been up against before? Yeah. Yeah. Am I discounting what they're doing as an administration? I'm not trying to. I just think you better be aware of a few key things. When you see clear skies for a few hundred days, when you know that there's peace everywhere, not coming peace, not the peace agreement with Israel, those are right at the time of Ezekiel 38. I'm saying when you see peace, and there's really only one time ever in the history of the world that peace is going to be here, and that's going to be with Christ. Think about this. Go back into the history of man and try to find a time where man was not divided in war and conquering and taking over and controlling. Now it's a little bit different than before. Not only do they have the guns and the ammo and the ability to conquer and control, but they have technologies and devices and AI that's going to just slam dunk this case and bring everybody into a closure. See, there's mechanisms that are in play that you don't have a say in, Donald Trump, like a world structure, a world order where supposedly 25 generals met and conveyed and are dealing with Donald Trump, and where they laid out for the last 5 years all these plans and these structures. And God, I hope it's true. I hope it's true. But if Donald Trump is bringing a peace agreement to the Middle East, you know, you better watch out, and you better understand what the definition of Middle East is, because of where the Antichrist is going to come from. I don't think you have a clue of where the Middle East is. And I've been just getting my mind wrapped around that statement for a while now. And I think we are in a special, special place here in America that we need to start considering into this play of world events. And I think America is much, much older than what we have been led to believe. And I think there's been things at play here in this country from not only the Egyptians, but the, I'm blanking on their name, from Mexico, the big group. Why am I blanking on their name? I just think there's been so many more things at play in this nation that we have to be considering. Like, what is Israel? Where is Israel? Is Israel that region over there? Really? What is the Mississippi? How many rivers run into the Mississippi? What is Memphis? Where is Memphis? Where's the original Egypt? Where's the original capitals of Egypt? Did they find massive amounts of Egyptian artifacts in the Grand Canyon? Yeah. What are all the mounds? What are all the pyramids all over the world? What does any of this mean, Kelby? I'm not going to get into that today. I'm going to tell you, you don't know what you don't know. And the facts are, as a church, we are being led to a slaughter in a lot of regards because many people are waiting for a rapture that I don't think is coming anytime soon. And I'm not saying it doesn't exist. I'm just saying what I'm saying. And when that doesn't happen, you're going to have this great falling away because they're going to believe a doctrine that was introduced in the late 1800s by a Freemason that maybe they shouldn't have ever listened to. So those are the things to which we need to understand, just like out of the Middle East, the Antichrist will rise. Where's the Middle East? You got a dark hair, dark complexion, beard, and a Hamas sticker. That's what everybody's thinking. And there is a degree of truth behind that. I think the mark of the beast is very much has to do, and I'm sorry, but I'll call it to the Muslim jihadist faith. Not to the general Muslim faith, but the Muslim jihadist faith, which is a different sect, not literally, but a different belief system within a Muslim community of what they want to do to this world. And I think that mark is something to take into consideration when you read the original Greek and the original Aramaic about what those words mean in Revelations chapter 13. And I'm saying all this because I feel like I got to scream it on a mountaintop right now, like, be warned. You don't know. And if the Antichrist rises up out of America, you have to know why. And who is he? Great peacemaker. All right. First question. Uh, we are doing the LPP and we closed down all of our personal bank accounts. We are in the LPP and we closed all personal accounts at a bank. If not able in the end to get a foundation account with Kraken or Caleb and Brown, I want you to get your mindset elsewhere because everybody is getting them. And I'm also working on another thing that we'll be talking about in the next couple of weeks with another company. Can we safely, in accordance with the LPP, reopen a personal account to get our crypto assets cash? You don't really need to. Let me ask you a question. So, your worst case scenario would be to private capitalize. So, you have a foundation account, bank account, not crypto exchange account, bank account. Let me give you a worst case scenario. Um, your worst case scenario is utilizing a private capital exchange account to put money into your foundation account for a small fee. That's your worst case scenario. Um, so just understand that you also have the ability, even if you don't have an exchange account, just remember that you can make payments utilizing the crypto assets that we have told you guys to buy, which y'all know is coming to fruition, which I do want to talk about in just a sec. Um, and remind me to talk about it. The changing dates on from March 10th to July 14th, and what those mean with the ISO stuff. So again, remind me if I don't get back to that right now. But the point is when you hold assets on your hard wallets, and I don't have it in front of me, which is your little storage device, you're the bank. And there's nothing that anybody can do about you being a bank. Like they're not going to be able to tell you you can't send money to the XYZ account. They're not going to be telling you you can't send money to a gold account. Um, plus your device is going to remember convert. You're able to transfer on one of these hard wallets from one currency to another, like USDT. Plus, people are creating and inventing abilities for you to make payments from these hard wallets on just standardized bills and or use where you can send money from your hard wallet to your personal Kraken account. Let's just say, for example, your personal Coinbase account, which by the way, I'm huge run from Coinbase right now. Just that's my own personal perspective. Not an investor, and I don't need to make, I guess I am a little bit for other things that God does. But Coinbase is taking such a hit right now for whatever reason. They're being targeted like never before. And so just if you have stock in Coinbase or cash in Coinbase, get it into a hard wallet now. Enough said. So the hard wallet is got keys and encryption on it itself. That's where the money lies. It doesn't lie on somebody else's exchange. It's you're the bank. So you have the ability to pay somebody in USDT or real USD to buy a house, to buy a car. So I think some of the things of which people worry about, like if I don't have an exchange and I can't get the money to XYZ, your worst case scenario is you find a middle guy to make a payment through and he'll put it in that account. That's your worst. But we're working out the details to where you don't have to worry about that, I believe. And I think everybody will be able to get an asset account set up for themselves to cash out. Um, the bank will want an SS. Yeah, don't worry about opening up another personal account. Just hang tight. We'll get it dialed in. Keep working it through with Kraken. I know many people are getting Kraken accounts, and I know many people are still getting Caleb and Brown. Caleb and Brown is getting a little more tight. That's fine. They want to source funds. I don't blame them, but don't worry about it. Keep working on it. Now, moving on to, and again, if you guys have any questions, I see there's 16 of them. Keep posting them onto the Q&A, and um, I'll get to them. But onto a quick update, and it's super important that you guys get your minds wrapped around what's happening this year. If this is your first time listening to this kind of stuff with being private or crypto please go and join hisadvocates.org. Super important. You're going to be able to grow beyond anything you can imagine with being free, developing asset protection on steroids for you and your family, and knowing what to do in this downward spiral of an economy that Trump will not be able to save. And I said it. And whereby there is a movement from fiat into digital. There's not just a movement, but Trump is in a line with it. Let me say it that way, where we will be cashless within 2 years max. That's my guess. So there is a standard of organization that is a way of accounting for all the banks, a way of communicating for all the banks. And it's called ISO 20022. It's a standard that every bank has been ordered to be compliant and working through and on by March 10th. They've now pushed that date back to July 14th. That is for domestic, United States domestic, ISO 20022. Most banks will be compliant by that time, which means they will be running domestically on XRP and XLM, HBAR, and those ISO coins that are going to increase in value, which I'm not going to get into with you today, but I will tomorrow on the His Advocates TV. I know I've been saying I'm going to get back in it. Something keeps blocking me. I really love doing the His Advocates TV stuff, but it is a bit of a burden, and it's just one of 10 shows I do in a week, and it's not always fun. So I'm going to make every effort to make it happen tomorrow night. So I'm going to be diving into the explaining what to look for in this next year and why, crypto wise. So if you haven't dialed in your budget yet for investment, I've been telling people jump as fast as you can I started 5 years ago, and the people at His Advocates have been hearing me talk about it since some of these currencies were 2 cents and 22 cents. Like Ripple XRP was at 22 cents when I started talking about it. And when I got my mind wrapped around completely, I was an all in on XRP because it's the banker's currency. Since that point, it's up about 1,200%. It got up as high as 1,500% of the time that I originally talked about it. And I've also been telling people, get the heck out of your retirement accounts. Take the 20% hit to the IRS, let them take it, put that money into gold, silver, and crypto. I've been saying that. And I'm still, as a long time ago investment advisor, with licenses. Today, I'm not an investment advisor. I'm simply telling you to do your own research and homework, because you will see what I'm saying to be absolutely true after you get done looking at everything. You're going to be all, oh my gosh. And we pretty much nailed it. People that do a that double your money in 7 to 10 years, those are good investment advisors. We've 12 times your money, 14 times your money just by telling you what to start thinking about 5 years ago. And we did it before 7 to 10 years. And it's going to go 1,000x some of these coins. And we're not exaggerating. This isn't, I own XRP and I'm trying to push and promote. Nobody's paying me to do this. I don't make any money selling any product in relation to cryptocurrencies. Um, I think I had a training video for 99 bucks and I took it off our store. We have people that we refer people to. You pay them directly 100 bucks, 150. They teach you how to get crypto and put it on a hard wallet. Has nothing to do with His Advocates. My point I'm saying all this for, the only gain I have with you in doing this is helping the membership base achieve something through the hardest times, through riding this wave through to the other side, so we survive together. We are building our vat of grain as Egypt did in that starvation period of time, where we will have and we will be able to help the others around us because of the choices that we have made. So I'm very fervent with how I speak and how I feel. I do not care that you have to take a 20% loss or hit today by cashing in a retirement. I know they are going to thieve your money soon. I know that when the economy collapses, the retirements are going to go away. And I think everything that you're hearing about the Social Security Administration and all the fraud that's within it is a precursor to the collapsed economies and the reasons why they're laying them out for you. Okay, it's not Trump's fault or this administration's fault. It's a private sector of da 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 for the last 20 years, and we're 40 trillion in debt because of it. Okay. Great explanation. Thank you very much. And now we're going to thieve all your accounts, your personal accounts, your retirement accounts. We're going to take it all. That's really what's going on. So you want to take that 80% that you have. Plus, guys, listen, let's get real for a second here. Your retirement account has lost value in the last 2 years. It has. The dollar has lost about 20 to 30% of its buying power in the last 2 years. It's called inflation. You can easily do the math and figure it out. Your groceries are that much more, your gas is that much more. Why not put it into something that's not yielding 2, 3, 10, 20%? Because even if you found a stock that you're putting it in and you're using a self-directed IRA or whatever, and you're putting it in, I'm making X amount on my goal, I'm perfectly happy. No, you are not. You are not. If the dollar is decreasing in value and you've made X amount on a percentage basis, you're still in a negative term basis on what you could actually be doing, where you're actually investing in gold. Remember, gold and silver does not go down in value. It's a constant. What's going down or up in value is the paper currencies around gold and silver. You can't make gold any more value. It just is what it is. It's a piece of gold. But when the dollar drops, it goes to $3,000 an ounce. Well, the dollar's going to make the gold go up to $50,000 an ounce. And that dollar, if it were left as being a dollar and not being gold, you would have nothing. But if you have it as gold, then you have the value of $50,000 an ounce. It's the same principle with your cryptos. So if you have retirement accounts, you need to convert them into your ISO coins. I know people are Bitcoin enthusiasts, Bitcoin Maximus, Bitcoin. You are losers. You're going to lose it all. You have no idea what's coming with Bitcoin. It's my prediction. Invest ISO coins. There's some. Stop worrying about all these little meme coins. Stop worrying about trading coins. Stop worrying. Just invest, put it on a hard wallet, and hold and wait. It's a couple years max. We've already been 1,400% right. We're about to be 14,000 or 140,000%. There's speculations that are happening because of tokenization, and the amount of money that will need to move through these ledgers is pointing to the facts that these ledgers are going to bring the coin the value like you would not believe. I thought it was a goofballish statement to say 10,000 a coin for XRP 3 or 4 years ago. I thought maybe 500 max, 100 max, 200 max, based on the billions of printed coins that are in reserve at Ripple. I don't think that way anymore. I'm not even close to thinking like that. I'm thinking like we are so far ahead of our ability to make money with this. I just think you need to stop everything you're doing and jump on this. I'm that guy that's on the mountaintop screaming out, and I'm begging you, when you make your money on this, if I'm doing a seminar, you see me on the streets, um, please grab me and give me a hug. Don't scare me. Tell me you're hugging me because you took the counsel, you took the advice. I'll be more than happy to hug you back. That's the best news in the world, that we got through something together. And my second question to you, I'm going to ask is, what are you doing for God with it? That's my second question. And first question is, what's your name, buddy? But know this, we have an opportunity here to do some great stuff, and it doesn't matter what it is. It doesn't matter if you think it's the devil's coin. Go pull out your dang wallet and look at the devil's currency that you carry around with you all day long. You're wearing underwear made by some kid in a foreign country, a sweatshop. Stop with your holier than art thou, and understand we can convert brothels into sanctuaries. We can convert, you know, the destruction of the devil into anything that we want for the glory of God. Know that. Let's get to some of these questions. Here we go. Yeah, it's Tartarian. Um, Kelby, would you consider helping Hong Kong? I got your email. Answer's yes. I don't know how. The language barrier, but the answer is yes. What do you see as the downsides of the SD driver's license from one state to another? Just an individual cop may be harassing you because they know you personally. That's the only downside. If you don't ever get pulled over, don't worry about it. Should I have an address for my foundation from SD if I have a SD driver's license? Um, you may want to, and here's why, JP, is because you can get an Amazon account where the taxation on the account isn't going to be enforced. So you can show tax exempt stuff. We have letters for tax exempt pushes with places like that. California, it's very difficult. With an address in California, they fight back because we're 40 million people out here, and that's, basically about a third of the buying power for Amazon. So they want all those taxes on all those transactions. So an SD driver's license with an SD foundation would buy you some power with your ability to be tax free or tax exempt with other states, is my point. What is the impact of state citizenship on our 401k, IRS, pension? Nothing, but private man, you would want to dump them. Get rid of them now. Self-directed, gold, silver, all those things you're putting it into where they're holding it, dump it fast. Take the 20% hit and make 1,000x on a crypto. Make 20x on gold, whatever. they are going to change in a big way very fast. Do your research. You've lost on all of your retirements this last year. Guaranteed. I don't care what your returns are, you've lost. I guarantee when you take a look at the dollar in comparison to every other nation and your buying power in our own nation and in foreign nations with the dollar, it's completely changed. 30% loss in the last 2 years. That means if you made 15% on your money, you netted zero. Cash in, crypto, gold, silver. What do you recommend for truck registration with a loan in regards to SD versus home state? Is it a commercial truck or just personal truck? I don't recommend anything really. Just I have several vehicles registered in South Dakota, and because I don't deal with smog, I don't deal with anything. And I don't care what law enforcement says. They can pull me over and say, you got to California. Yeah, but I also got an address in South Dakota. They can say whatever they want to say and tell me whatever they want to tell me. They can't enforce me to change something. They can't force me to contract. What do you recommend for family van registration owned by the foundation in regards to SD versus home state? I don't have a problem either way. It all depends. Sometimes you want to make it easy for your spouse to be able to drive without a problem. There's not a problem for your spouse to drive an SD plate versus a home plate. It's got to help her understand what she needs to say when being confronted by law enforcement. And you do have an address in South Dakota, so it really is none of their business. They're going to ask how many months out of the year do you live here versus there. And don't be disrespectful. I don't answer questions. I'm not here to hang myself so you can write me more tickets. Just very respectfully, I don't answer questions and let them make their orders, make their whatever. They can't enforce you to do something that you don't have to do. That's the bottom line. Um, Hold on. Making sure I'm still on YouTube right now because it is saying I'm not. Just give me a second. Sorry, guys. Here we go. Done. If I get an SD license, I assume that I should send notice to the DMV that all mail should be sent to the foundation. And so I would think it would need to be a foundation address and SD. That's fine. Yeah, and also understand a lot of times you don't control like here's why I love the SD license. I don't have one yet, but I love it because in California they require, even though my license has a PO box, they require that you have a physical address. I've been able to get away with keeping a non-physical address on my driver's license. But in SD, you don't have to worry about that. But in other home states, you do. So just that's why we chose that, is you're not putting a home address. And they say, well, you must have one. No, you don't have to have one for security reasons. You don't need to know what I do or why I do it. But if you don't want me to have a driver's license, put it in writing why you don't want me to have a driver's license, and I'll accept that. But otherwise, I want a denial of due process and my ability based on the fact that I'm using this address and based on the fact that I live in this whatever. There's many ways to get around it. I don't do things the government expects of me. I'm a brand new dog owner. Do I need to register my dog? No. People are telling me I must. Ooh. That I can be sued if she bites somebody. Ooh. She's not. Not only am I naturally resistant, that requires my 8-year-old doggy to be poisoned with vaccines. Good point. When she's been fine without since 2017, I have her medical records. Isn't this the point of my foundation? Not so much the point of your foundation, but you can make the foundation the owner of the dog. And but I understand something. If you ever get sued, they're going to sue you and they're going to sue your foundation. But all your assets are in your foundation, so your asset protection is stellar with his advocates. So don't worry about it. But you're doing the right thing. Keep your dog clear of those vaccines. There's nothing good in them. I don't know of anything that's helping. I'm sorry, that's just my opinion. And do what you're doing. Uh, but again, your dog's not going to bite somebody unless it's defending you. So I think you're going to be in a pretty good position. And I don't really know of too many people that have dogs that are dealing with dog bite issues. But people are going to sue anybody for anything at any time. It's not whether you're going to be sued. If you're out there in the open, like most people, you're going to be sued. Like people can't find me, Joey. Nobody knows how to sue, why to sue. Nobody has a reason anymore to sue. But the point is if I had a dog that was going to bite, that's not my dog. That's owned by this foundation. I'm the caretaker, and a registered dog is something that they can take. An unregistered dog is something they can't take. There is no controls over that dog. You can't just come up and take a dog that they don't own, that they don't control, and you could fight for that. And so that's an important thing to understand about what registration does. And there is no requirement to register a dog for a state citizen whatsoever. It's your property. The term registration is to turn one over in a lot of different respects. So I would never register a dog. I'd never register a cat. I have three. I am publicly saying I have three feral, unregistered cats, and I have fun with them. And they are my life until 3 o'clock in the morning when they start crying for food. Just purchased our leased vehicle. How do we go about truly owning the vehicle as well as the second vehicle has been paid off? So it's Belinda, that's a good question. If it were me, there's nothing you're going to be able to do on the lease vehicle. You don't have ownership rights. You leased it, but you can put it into South Dakota. You can do all kinds of things to privatize it, to secure it, to make sure you don't lose it when you actually turn out to own it. There are people out there that are selling the service of getting the MSO for existing vehicles. MSO, MCO, manufacturer statement of origin. Those are from the actual manufacturer. Those are the people that you can employ, or maybe go to the manufacturer itself and say, I need a duplicate copy of the MSO, and you can get a duplicate. Duplicate, according to Black's law, is a true original copy. Once you're holding the MSO, it doesn't mean that you have dealt with the registration. There's a registration withdrawal process if you truly want to have an unregistered vehicle where you're holding the MSO. Now, right now, I'm just going to publicly state I don't recommend that. There's no need to do that, because we're not in a state of affairs where they're making demands. And if you don't do this, you're not going to be able to have a license, or you're not going to be able to drive, or you're not going to be able to do this. Once they start saying you must have this, or you're not going to have a driver's license, I'm not going to have a driver's license. I'm going to let that license go. And I'm only going to drive vehicles where there's no license plate, there's no registration, where I'm holding the MSO, and I'm only going to drive in counties where I've served the sheriff, served the law enforcement. I've walked it into their station, and I help them to understand what's going to happen if I'm pulled over. And I'm going to say, I'm not going to be speeding. I'm not going to be doing anything unlawful or illegal, but I do not have a license, and you do not own this vehicle. I do. And anybody that touches this vehicle or touches me, and this is what they are to expect. But you're dealing with at a time and a place. Um, where it's truly creditor, trustee versus beneficiary. It's creditor versus debtor. This is going to be the differential for us as a body of people. We are the creditors. We are no longer operating as the surety underneath these structures. And so those are the times to which we will be excelling. And but for now, there's really not a need. Get your MSO in play, but don't worry about withdrawing it from the registration. Keep paying on that registration until you're ready to move on. And then once you move on, you have to withdraw the property from the state, letting them know you hold the MSO. There's a little bit of process for that. And then you're going to have to give up the license, and you're going to have to show there's no requirement to do a license, and show them. And this is stuff that we're going to be helping people with, hopefully years down the road. I hope it never happens, to be frank with you, but it's coming to a point. And by the way, there's a ton of people through this ministry that drive without plates, drive without driver's license, and they don't get harassed and they don't get arrested. And there's a couple of a-hole cops out there that will say they didn't present a identification and that's how they were arrested. And they did present a passport, and you can't be arrested for driving without a license. So, but under color of law, they can arrest you for failure to identify, but yet people out there are identifying all the time with their passports. I've only had one guy that I know of that got arrested for using a passport as he was driving. Anyway, hope that helps. Last time you mentioned that those of us who are going to profit off the Iraqi dinar revaluation shouldn't pay our taxes on profits after cashing in with the banks. How do you navigate that if we don't have a foundation? That you can't donate it to a foundation. You're using the all caps name. There's no navigation. You can donate it to somebody else's foundation. Um, there are people that we help, we have helped people get a foundation before at a zero cost to them today with a promise to pay when their stuff revalues. I don't have a problem with helping somebody do that. Um, it's between you and God at that point, but it's super imperative that you have these structures in place because that's something you created. That's something that is out of their jurisdiction. Your name and a personal account is not out of their jurisdiction. We're halfway through sending out our adhesion docs. We have the SSA, IRS. Belinda, what's taking you guys so long? You should have been out a long time ago. Long time ago. Are we able to receive our cash out of the 5K stimulus checks that Trump's administering may be sending out? I don't know anything about that. Do you want to receive a stimulus check? I have not received any free funds from anybody. What is the ramification? What does the check say? What is the deal? I don't know. Read the terms, let me know, and I'll tell you your answer then. I spoke with Anchorage USA custodian Caleb Brown's competitor who offered insured accounts up to like 10 million. Have you heard of them or in talks with them at all? I'm not, Eva, but do me a favor. Send me the contact information to kelby@hisadvocates.org, please. We're always looking for new locations. What do you think about Old Glory Bank? I don't think much. I know they got a good app. I know it's something to consider. I don't have an opinion. I don't have an account with them. Friendly reminder, you wanted to talk about, yes. Okay. Um, I did a little bit already, but the dates to remember for banks to be on ISO standard ways of moving money in and within the domestic boundaries is July 14th. It was originally March. They gave an extension. There's no reason why they can't do another extension, but July 14th is the cutoff when all banks within the United States must be ISO 20022 compliant. That means all the money moving through one of those ISO companies, Ripple, XRP, XLM, XDC, HBAR, Quant, all those companies are going to be seeing the profits of these banks moving the money through their coins because the coins are going to revalue up. And I'll talk about that tomorrow night. But the bottom line is, internationally speaking, all banks internationally need to be ISO compliant by November 22nd. So we're talking about an end of the year blowout. We're going to go through the roof in 2026 and yeah, just jump on and get your bandwagon going. When I donate my EVA ledger to the foundation, does the foundation have to transfer crypto and EVA donated ledger to its own freshly bought ledger? Or no, you would want to make and put it onto um a an agreement between the two parties in the event of, because that's all you would need to show that I made a donation to a private foundation on this date, this time with this amount, using this ledger and this account number for the the XRP, whatever it is. And so you have kind of like a transfer agreement, and you accept it, you notarize it, you sign it, you put it in your coffers, you're golden. How Foundation will have DeFi accounts similar to having its own anchors. Okay, yeah, I know, sure. Um, I'm in a lot of different talks on that because there's not just DeFi, but there's opportunity for staking. There's opportunity for, you know, the things that scare me about staking is the removal of the possession of the funds, kind of a thing. But even with the foundation account, it doesn't, once you have the approval with Caleb and Brown or Kraken, it doesn't matter. All those companies offering those services, um, your foundation can make a yield on an investment account or a DeFi account or a staked account. You don't have any problems with making a yield. I hope that answers your question. Is the best bank for a foundation still B of A? No. I like B of A just because we can get it done easily and quickly, and I've never had a problem with them other than one account with one person that was running millions of dollars a month through it. But we fixed it. What are your thoughts about opening up a foundation account with B of A? Is it still a good choice? Yes. What if we already cashed our Iraqi dinar? I cashed all of Iraqi dinar. How do we wire Iraqi dinar profits from personal checking account to foundation checking? Just with wire instructions and followed up with the donation receipt. Please, what are ISO coins? ISO 20022 compliant. XRP, XLM, XDC, HBAR, HBAR. Those are my four favorite. Buy them a lot. I don't make any money off you purchasing them. Only if the entire world gets behind these coins, which they are. And remember, the DTCC has been tokenizing all of its assets for 10 years on H bars. XLM is working with Fed now, supposedly. Um, Ripple has got every major institution in the world operating on it, and they're taking over Swift without having to take over Swift, which means about 6 trillion in transactions a day, which puts Ripple at about $3,000 to $6,000 per coin when that takes place. And there's guys, look, that's not even a speculation anymore. That's gotten to the point where those equations would have to take effect to make it happen. And who would profit by doing that? Well, 99% of all the currencies owned, all the people that own XRP are banks. So they're doing this for themselves. They're trying to shake everybody else out with the lawsuits and with all these things. And they may even make it illegal to own Ripple XRP. And just like they did in 1932, making it illegal to own gold. I don't know if you remember that. We are talking about digital gold. So don't let it go no matter what. Because I guarantee there's a clause in there that doesn't apply to you when they make it illegal to own XRP or the like. But um, you can we've dealt with a lot of those questions in the past, William. You can go get a VIP membership on hisadvocates.org and listen to the VIP calls. Um, Kelly, mom died a couple of years ago and left some real estate in nonprofit she formed when I was the secretary. How can I bring this nonprofit back to life with me as the overseer and not jeopardize my status? Um, I don't think that there's any issue depending on the structure of the style of, was it an S corp? I understand it's a nonprofit. They all start with being a style of a corporation before they receive their status, and how the structure is currently. If it were me and there was real estate involved, and I was the current secretary, even though it's not, the secretary is the one that generally signs off on the deeds. So you might just be able to immediately go and, as the secretary of the nonprofit, um, sign on behalf of the nonprofit to do something with the deeds, but you know, reach out and you can do a consultation with us, and we can talk about that if you need to. That's a little bit more than a quick answer. I have an LLC. I'm moving ownership to the foundation. Okay, that's not a question, but we can help you with that. We purchased our leased vehicle. Leave it registered until you're ready to go crazy sovereign citizen-ish. I'm just kidding, Belinda. I don't like that term, but what I mean is leave it registered until get the MSO, get it in hand, but leave it registered so that you're not getting pulled over or harassed until they're making it, illegal to drive unless you have this chip embedded in you or whatever. What about silver bought and held by a holding company? Don't do it, Zach. Hold it in your safe, please. I don't let anybody hold anything of value anymore. There's just too much distrust going on, and it's just plain as day. To officially move, donate our vehicles to our foundation to be just listed in our foundation papers. Um, yes, there's a meeting within the foundation. There's a transfer of rights. You can go to AAA if you have a membership and just help them transfer the vehicle. You want to sign the line on the transferee, the acceptance as the executive director. And but it's very easy to put a vehicle in the name of a foundation, literally with the state. I'll need to put myself in my mother's position to motion for a claim for title to acquisition the land. Maybe. Sometimes you're able to do it as a secretary. Most of the time. I have an LLC that I'm moving ownership to the foundation. You've recommended donating the extra LLC income over expenses to the foundation. I'm wondering, in light of the IRS view of large donations, why not build the LLC different? You can do that. The reality is you don't care what the IRS does anymore. The only power, if you've gone through the living in the private program, the only power they have is over the LLC itself. So the LLC can write a check for business services, for marketing services, for anything you want. It can make a donation, all the above. All of it's an offset. XRP, XLM, DTCC is an entity that's moving money into HBAR through HBAR, HBAR. The four coins that I like are XRP. I'm typing them down. XLM, HBAR, XDC. I like more, but those are the four ISOs I like. All right, guys. Let's see if there's any questions over on YouTube land. Thank you, Raul. If you don't hold it, you don't own it. How true is that? All right. Can you still get a job and rent with SSN after going through this program? Yes, there's ways to structure how you fill out an application, but yes. The thing that we steer people away from is utilizing the Social Security for the benefit of a credit. That's what we steer people away from. Guys, it's on. We're going to make some money together. We're going to get through this together, and you're not going to have as many surprises in life because of this. So do me a favor. Just tell everybody about HISadvocates. Forward this video when you're done to your friends and tell them they need to cash in those retirement accounts now. Look, the world has already decided it's all going to be on digital currency. Every real estate deed, every birth certificate, every stock market, the entire stock market. Look, BlackRock, the largest investment holder in the world, is working with XRP to manage the stock market and all the transactions that take place on the stock market through the XRP ledger. BlackRock is working with XRP to have an ETF. There's a brand new ETF in another country. There's four other ETFs that are coming up. This is institutional funds now able to come over into XRP. And I want you to understand one more thing before we go, and I'll very much explain it tomorrow night. What you saw in December when XRP was about 50 cents, and you see today where XRP is 250 to $3 on any given day. What you saw is $122 million increase of total capital into XRP. Now imagine trillions and trillions of capital coming into the ledger. That means the dollar value of the XRP has to go up. Every transaction that XRP does, an XRP gets burnt or multiple XRP get burnt. The valuation of XRP is going to go through the roof very soon. Don't miss this ride. Screw your retirement accounts. They suck. Screw your savings accounts, your cash and your I literally just went and took silver and cashed it in and made some transactions. I literally twice in the last 60 days. Why? The valuation of these cryptos, I think, is going to go way higher than the valuation of gold or silver. And I will come back at 1,000x and buy silver back at a 10x. No problem. No problem at all. And a way bigger stake. But we have to be thinking like this together. So get your friends out there to be on the same page as you. Get them to listen to His Advocates TV. By the way, we got hosed by Google, Google TV, the Play Store. They took us out. One letter. I wrote one letter to them. Approved. We should be back any day now on Google Play Store as a private, unincorporated, unregistered, self-supported ministry, just like a foundation, helping the world become free. God bless, guys. I'll see you tomorrow night. We're going to rock and roll on the His Advocates TV show. I will make it all about what I'm learning on crypto, and there's a lot to talk about. So enjoy your day. We'll see you tomorrow night, 6 p.m.